Hi everyone, thank you for joining us again. I am Chidi Akunna.
And I am Victor Akunna.
If you're new to our YouTube channel, Foundation for Family Affairs, please feel free to go through all the resources we have on this channel and feel free to hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it so you know when we drop our content. And thank you to every returning subscriber. Thank you for always coming in. Thank you for the questions you keep sending. You guys are the real deal.
Yes.
We've come your way today with another interesting topic: the power of emotional intimacy. Yes, the power of emotional intimacy. Why is emotional intimacy important? How does it affect our relationship when it's absent? Why is it really, really important that we share emotional intimacy? I like the way you looked at me. Okay, come on, let's do this now.
Well, I like the question you asked. Why is it important? Usually, when people say that they want to step out of a relationship, usually what you hear them say is that I don't feel connected to her anymore.
Right.
I don't feel like I love her anymore. I don't feel like I love him anymore. I don't feel that connection. So that connection is very important. And so, is this something that happens to you? Is this something that you can create? Is this something you can sustain when you create it? And that's the question that we'd like to answer today. Emotional intimacy. That's that connection you have with someone where you feel both of you can walk yourself into that vulnerable state where you can be very vulnerable with a person, where you feel you share common values with a person, where you feel you can share something intimate with a person, maybe your secrets, your aspirations, your fears, without feeling that the person is going to use it against you. If you are in a relationship like that, it means both of you share emotional intimacy. And this is so critical for any relationship, especially romantic relationships. Why? Because if you don't have that, it's just going to be, both of you will be living like roommates, not that you guys have any particular quarrel, you're just growing apart, and particularly for married couples, if you're not intentionally investing in your emotional intimacy, after a while, both of you are going to just find out that you're just dry. You conflict may begin to evolve, things that you normally will overlook. You now begin to overextend, overinterpret, overread meanings to it because that foundation that brings you guys together to enjoy conversations, to discover, to be curious about one another is no longer there. And so what you now have is just commitment. You know what? We are hanging in this relationship. We're just going to be. I've seen people that are committed in a relationship and they are killing each other. Right? So commitment is good, is great. Without commitment, you can't build anything sustainable. You can't build anything worthwhile. But in a relationship, you need more than commitment. You need emotional intimacy as well to make it a good experience. I don't know what you think.
So as you were speaking, you said something about we have to intentionally invest into it. So someone watching us might be thinking, then how do we do this? So I think it's something we need to talk about.
We need to express today.
The first thing I think in a case like this is you need to spend time talking. And when we say talking, it's not just the peripheral talk. It's going deep, asking questions that will take you deeper into this person's heart to know how the person truly feels. It's one thing to say, how are you? And the person, oh, I'm fine. And that's a response after you got the response you needed. But then that that's not enough. There's something not right. That this person's demeanor has not been right for a while. So it's for you to then be patient and want to dig. Now, don't forget that the other person who's told you, I'm fine, may also be feeling like if you truly want to know, you would want to explore more if it truly matters to you. So if you take I'm fine, the person would then know, oh, it didn't matter after all. But then if you on it, but you need the patience as well. You may not get the response you need the first time because probably over time things may have happened that got you both disconnected. You're trying to build connection now. You need to exercise some patience.
To be honest with you, communication is quite important. It's become a cliche. So most people talk about communication, but it's still the fact. It's like saying we all need oxygen. No matter how much you talk about it, it's still the fact. We all need. So communication is like oxygen in a relationship. All right, because the less the more we communicate, particularly intimate communication, like you talked about, deeper beyond below the surface kind of communication, the more we're able to connect. All right. So when people begin to have problems in their relationship, one of the first signs is that they stop talking. And the second sign that their talking becomes negative, critical, antagonistic, fault finding. These are some of the signs. So if you are having an intimate relationship where you are constantly connecting, you don't even have an agenda. You're just talking and just getting to know each other. You're just finding out each other's dates. It's really important. So if you're not used to that, you have to build that into becoming a culture in your marriage. Build that into becoming a habit. We're working with a couple and we told them, you know what, you don't just wait for your spouse to go away in the morning and then you don't talk to each other until late in the evening. Send a text during the afternoon, connect, you say, I'm thinking about you. Build that into your routine, into a habit for you. If it's difficult, set an alarm to remind you, because when you're building a habit at the beginning, someone says it takes about 30 days to build a new habit. If you begin an habit at the beginning, you will likely forget because it's not new to you. But once it becomes a habit, something that you do habitually without thinking about it, that's really, really good. And be creative about what you do as well. Right. So that's why. So now the question is, what about if I'm not feeling connected to this person? How will communication is what you build that connection. Yeah.
So even when you don't feel like talking,
you have to push
you've
through.
got to talk anyway.
Find something to talk about.
Yes.
And I will give you a clue. Find something that your spouse is interested in. Those topics that once you talk about them, your spouse recalls. He or she doesn't want to talk. Avoid those for now. You talk about that later because it's very important to address issues. But look for common. If your spouse is a football fan, for example, look for something about that. If your spouse likes a particular show, look for something about that discussion. That is a topic that both of you can talk freely and enjoy. Those are the key areas. Start from the common ground and build it up as you go along. Okay.
But don't forget that when it's been like a while,
yes,
the last spoke, it will take a while to break the wall.
It does.
Because the wall would have been very thick.
Yes.
At the early initial stage, it would be a lot easier. But if it's taken like 6 months, a year since the last spoke,
that's not good.
It's going to be a hard wall to crack.
Yes, hard wall to crack, but it's still the way. You see what you have to do. Now, if you have a partner that is unyielding, that doesn't want to talk to you, that's a different thing. Now you need a third party to come into this conversation. Or if you are in a situation whereby your partner just stonewalls you, or just criticize and criticize and criticize, but doesn't engage in a conversation, you need a third party. But if your partner is listening, I don't think you need a third party. I think you just have to persist, and look for common ground where you guys can talk.
I like that you brought in the point on third party, but now we usually advise that the third party you introduce into the conversation
very important.
Has to be someone both of you agree on.
Yes.
That's the best way, because then the other person is more favorably disposed towards this person, favorably disposed to listen.
Yes.
Okay, but when these two people are not speaking and the other decides, I'm going to bring in a third party anyway, what happens then?
In a situation like that, it might end up creating more negative emotion. So, for example, a couple are having a disagreement, and then this person goes and brings his mom or her mom, and no, we don't mean the person doesn't mean any disrespect to his partner or his or her partner's parent. It's just that he or she doesn't feel this person will be objective enough to manage this issue. So,
I don't want this person knowing about this issue.
Or I don't want this person knowing about this issue. Okay, for personal reasons. Sometimes the reason is that they feel like this is going to be biased, or it's not helping the image you want to create. Okay, so that may not really, even though your intentions may be right, may not create the solution you want. To create another problem. Okay, so now you have two problems you have to deal with. So, but if you talk with a partner and say, you know what, we've been working around this for a while, we've not achieved any result. who can we talk to? We've seen many situations like that. Both of them agreed, okay, we can talk to this counselor, to this coach, to this coach, to this coach. 4 coaches, let's choose one. And both of them agreed, we're choosing this person. And then they must commit to whatever the person tells them. It's not just once you think it's not going your way, like, let's choose another coach. No, that doesn't work. Yeah.
Right. We're telling you things we've observed. I mean, through over the years working with different people.
Correct.
So we're trying to cast analogies there, put it out there for you. So if that's your situation, you have something to work with. But then, what would you say about the role of empathy in strengthening emotional bonds?
Empathy, the way I describe empathy is wearing other people's shoes, putting yourself in other people's shoes, as the saying goes. So you're standing on a principle, and based on that principle, your partner is seeing it differently from you. And so sometimes you just have to wear your partner's shoe. You know what? This doesn't make sense to me, but let me see it through our own eyes. Let me see it through his own eyes. Without having these key elements, you're going to have, particularly both of you are very strong, you are very opinionated.
Yes.
You are going to keep experiencing conflicts. All right. So, and that's one point. The other point is, when your partner breaks the rule, both of you agree, you not saying that I told you so. You know that those people that when you have made an error, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so, and they keep drumming it into your ear. It's different if the partner is arguing, and the partner is not accepting fault. But when they've accepted fault, what else again? Should they kill them? Should they cut off their head? They've said, I'm sorry about this. Not I'm sorry, not like those kind of stiff apology. But the person is genuinely repentant about this. Drop the matter. Don't now make them shrink for you to now feel like, And I would like to recommend you guys to read a book called The Apology Language by Gary Chapman. Probably help around apologies. But she asked me a question about empathy. So you have to be able to see it through the other person's eye and empathize with the person when the person is genuinely sorry and apologetic about an issue. Let it slide. Otherwise, you're going to drive a wedge in between you emotionally. So empathy is so important. It helps you to see things through the other person's eyes, to say, why is this person so rigid around this issue? Is there something in the history? Is there something I'm not seeing? Am I being selfish and thinking about my own needs or the impression I want to make? Or does this person truly have something genuine? You can only think like this if you're empathetic. If you're not empathetic, this will not even flash through your mind. You only be thinking, I am right, he is wrong, she is wrong. And that doesn't create an harmonious emotional connection in any way. And
I think we must get to the point where we decide what we really want to win on. Do you want to win the argument, or do you want to win the relationship?
True.
Are you in that place where things are not going right in the relationship? But you know that it's just because hurt has built over the years, and then you reach the point where you have begun to resent your spouse. Are you comfortable with that? If you are not, because that definitely, you cannot arrive at emotional intimacy if you are feeling any kind of resentment towards your spouse. No, it's difficult.
Yes.
So you have to get to that stage where you tell yourself, I'm just going to let this go so we can build afresh. Otherwise, you keep holding on to the hurt. So I like what you were saying about don't keep overflogging the matter.
Yes.
If this person has shown some remorse, let it go. And then see how you can start. But what happens? Because some people will say, my spouse never shows remorse. You must get to the point where you forgive, because it's a gift you're giving to yourself. So it's not, I'm not doing it for the other person. I'm doing it for me first. And then I think I consider the relationship more important than this drama we're doing here. So we get to that point where we truly let go of these things and work on the relationship.
I like to add something to the point you said. What happens when your spouse doesn't apologize or remorseful, and you still go on and be forgive anyway? Yes. Sometimes it's because your partner's apology language is different from yours.
Yes.
That's why I recommended that book. All right. So some people, when you wrong them, for example, if someone wrongs me, I like you to say it. Don't go through and be showing me some body language like, I'm not. No, say to me, I'm sorry about this. I don't think this is where I'm wrong. I will not repeat this again.
And you'll be very happy.
I like it to be clear so that when you do it again, I'll remind you what you said. So, but some people don't like to do that. They like to go through buy gift. You know, if you do that to me, I will feel that you are even insulting me because I think that you are being cunning.
You think I'm not
but somebody else will appreciate that. So you need to now study your partner and say, how do I get across to this person that they will feel that I'm truly sorry, I'm truly repentant. Some people, what they want is restitution. If you've done something wrong, don't just come and say verbal, don't come and apologize the way how you want it. They want you to do something to make amends. All right? So I wouldn't want that. No, I would feel uncomfortable. But some people, that's what they want. So if you're trying to apologize to someone in a way that is not their own apology language, you might be thinking that the person is mean. It's not that they are mean, but what you're doing is not registering on the apology radar. Yeah, so you have to have a look at that book. Yeah.
Hey, study your spouse.
Study your spouse.
You
That's
see?
the keyword.
Yeah, your spouse is priority. So let's get studying. Okay. Do you have any final words before we go?
No, that's all.
All right. So we thought we'd just throw out some coaching tips for you there. So, and I'm so sure if you put to practice what we've shared today, you will be texting us soon. You'll be dropping us some DMs. I was looking forward to reading from you. Please feel free. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please feel free to do that. And hey, share this with other people. You know, there are couples around you who could benefit from this. Share this. Be liberal. The liberal soul shall be made fat. Hey, we'll see you in the next one. You take care.
Bye.
Bye.